Major Hamza Al-Mustapha, you're welcome to this special interview.
Thank you so much.
Now, to many Nigerians, the name Al-Mustapha is dreaded. They look at the person as that dreaded chief security officer of late General Sani Abacha, and probably the mastermind of the killing of MKO Abiola. But for some people right now, they believe, especially people like Femi Falana, he described you as someone who is trying to rewrite history by claiming to be a friend of MKO Abiola. What's your reaction to that?
First of all, I say it's most unfortunate that people who never know the contents of events will be the ones that will be at the foremost in occupying television, radio, and newspapers, misleading the society. Falana doesn't know much of me. Falana claimed to be coming to court during the trial that started on the 14th of October 1999. But on most occasions, when trial was on, he was busy in television house telling the world what never happened, most unfortunately. But I'm happy. After my discharge, he came up with so many things, and with him as an SAN, a lawyer who was always in court, who kept the records of the court, came to one of the television houses to reply him. I haven't said anything to this moment. And for him to say, I do not know Chief MKO Abiola, yes, so rest in peace, then suddenly Chief Falana is misleading this country, or probably he doesn't know. If he doesn't, all those who were close to him knows very well. My relationship with late Chief MKO Abiola started from early 80s, 84 to be precise. He was coming to Army headquarters, and I was in Army headquarters. And most of the occasions he was coming, I was the one paving way for him to come to Army headquarters, Naval headquarters, Air headquarters, at the Independence Building that time. There were occasions that I can say that was open. When there was a launching for Borno State, Abdul Mumin Aminu was governor at that time. It was at the National Art Theatre. Late Chief MKO Abiola was the chief launcher. He didn't use his pen. He said, let me borrow your pen to write this check of 11 million naira of that time to the state. That was a very huge money then. And he used my pen in writing. And all I said is, what will be the commission to the pen? So everybody laughed. He said, writing it for you, it means that you will get 11 million naira one day. I will all laugh about it. Similar thing happened when this national stadium was being launched. General Abacha was representative of General Babangida, and General late Chief MKO Abiola was the chief launcher. He also gave the same 11 million naira, if you can go back to television, to go back to the news. It was my pen he still used in writing. This tells you the closeness. If I don't know much of him, there wouldn't be anything like this. And it was in camera, in the news, openly. So for him to, come to the television, dance to the gallery, because you want to be seen, to be talking, is most unfortunate. You see, in this country, lies will not take us nowhere. The truth will, sure. It may be bitter, but it is. You can't sit down in one part of Nigeria and be assuming issues to be this way or that way. And you take steps forward. I know, when General Abacha was around, you talked about killings. I know when General Abacha was around, many people who wanted to oustate Abacha had me as an enemy. And to me, I took an oath to defend that place. I'm the last human being that will take an oath and compromise. It can never, ever happen. I will never, ever betray. I will never compromise an oath. So the issue of the well-being and welfare of people, I know much more. When late Chief MKO Abiola was in police detention, I forced myself into helping him. He was in the custody of police. He was in Gashua before. But thank God he was brought back to Abuja.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody has joined Femi Falana, and in fact, two of them, Ayo Padoku and Femi Falana, have called you a pathological liar.
The two of them, most unfortunately, are people who are compromised. And watch my word, highly compromised. Opadokun is most unfortunate. He's talking this way. During Nadeko, they were fighting, they were abusing the then government, they were the then person of the late General Sani Abacha. And there is no propaganda, no messages they put. If God Almighty were to judge the contents of what they said, they have no proof. They don't know what to say. Propaganda is not what we require in Nigeria. the truth. They don't know much of what we were doing. I took late Chief MKO Abiola as a father, and I was spending. Those who were supposed to take care of him were not paying. They didn't care. I had to scavenge for money to arrange for his feeding. The Commissioner of Police in Abuja that time, as it was narrated at the Putapana, knew that I used to give him 850,000 naira of that time to feed him on what he wanted, because he was in their custody. Later on, he was moved to the residence of the guest house of the Secretariat of the Government, and I secured it for his comfort. I left Chief MKO Abiola a Bible and a Quran and plain sheets of paper. You know what he was doing with them? He was writing his diary. Every person that comes to him, everything that had happened to him was kept. And I'm indeed very, very worried. Ask me why. After they killed him, I'm asking for the whereabouts of that Bible, the Quran, and those jottings he did. Nigerians need to know what he jotted. Who took them? Why are they hidden? Where are they kept? Why won't those fighting for him ask for them? I asked for it and I became an enemy because I want the world to know. He kept, there are a lot of stories, lot of things he jotted down for Nigerians to speak.
Did you see them? Did you read them?
Who?
What
MKO? I gave him to keep his personal issues.
Okay.
Every person that visited, every issue that had happened, he jotted them down. And we were talking together. All I was doing was to ask him to accept conditional bail. Go home. From home, you can now come back from the point of strength. And that's what we were doing. I used to take him out on the streets illegally. I take him in the car, we go around Abuja just to convince him. It was illegal, I was not supposed to do so, but I do. Or I did.
So many people are saying you claim to love Abiola so much, but Femi Falomo also claimed that Dr. Falomo, Abiola's doctor, you stopped him from seeing him, you got him arrested, and he also said that there was a time Abiola fell from his bathroom and had a swollen feet. You refused Abiola from having medical attention.
All right, number one, I know Ore Falomo very well, and I trusted him. I still do. Ore Falomo's hospital in 1989, I was a patient. So if I can entrust my life as a patient to him in 1989, that's one issue. He was late Chief MKO Abiola's doctor, as well as me, in Maryland Specialist Hospital. Dr. Ore Falomo saying I denied him access. It wasn't me that had the authority then. It was the police. And one of the reasons why I pushed myself into having him close to where we can now have access for him was to allow the family. And there was never a time the family came and I was told, and I didn't rush to organize. The fact that I never come back to tell him that I was the facilitator is another thing. I don't like pressing it myself. And I did. He visited him many times and all the visitations are on videotape. I never denied any person. And I never denied him refusal to go to hospital. That is also another fundamental mistake. If he fell from his bathroom at that time in their custody, the chief physician to the president, Dr. Wali, was there, and I was the one that insist chief physician should be seeing him. The same chief physician who was treating the president at that time. If he is considered to be the best, then let that be. And besides, during Babangida's administration, the chief physician was known to let Chief MKO Abiola, so they knew themselves. So it was better to have somebody who knew him very well years past. And this I did. The fact that they do not know, it does not mean they should go on speculating on what they want, not facts. You know, lies distorts. Lies brings about hatred and disaffection, and that's not what we want. Learned and elder people should be seen to speak from the point of view of honesty and sincerity. With the love of the same person, let Chief MKO Abiola, if let Chief MKO Abiola survived, I wouldn't have gone to jail. He would have been one of my witnesses. And I know that wouldn't have happened. We should be looking at the larger issues. The question is, why should Chief MKO Abiola be killed? And why should they be angry because I'm asking these questions? They should support me to uncover that first. Why? And they know the people. They shared money. Those who killed him shared money. I don't share money. So they are defending those who killed him. And they are attacking me because I have no money to share.
Now, when you say they share money, we would like to know more about that sharing of money. Who took money?
I said it in the year 2001 at a Puta panel. Until this very moment, nobody challenged me. Until these few things that are coming up lately. In the year 2001, maybe people have forgotten. I know it's a long time now. I said it at a Puta panel. I tendered the tape. I tendered the document. The document that led to the withdrawal of money from Central Bank. And the fictitious reasons given for the withdrawal of that money. That money was not meant for what it was written. Late Chief MKO Abiola was killed on the 8th of July. On the 9th, a letter was already taken to Central Bank, given directives to the governor of Central Bank that time, to release funds as stated.
How much?
Signed by the president. Hundreds of millions of dollars. It's in that document. It's a public document. The Oputa panel has it. In the court, I tendered it. And I have my reasons for tendering it. Just to avoid people who will sit down and support those who came destroying this country. And that's why I tendered them, so that the documents and the evidence of videotapes can speak for me.
So where did this money go to?
Shared to people.
Which people?
The people that came fighting for Late Chief MKO Abiola. Let me tell you what happened for you to know an example. Opadokun, who is busy abusing me right now, who claimed he never been to Abuja, on the 9th in the morning, an aircraft, presidential aircraft, was sent to pick him to the villa. And that is the same time this money was brought from Central Bank. And one may ask, where were you at that time? Because General Abacha had died and you were supposed to have left the villa. I was still in the villa handing over. I left the villa on the 31st of July, that same year. So on the 8th, I was very much around. I had not finished handing over the villa because there were about 3 offices for me to hand over to the then new head of state. The office of CGS, there was nobody. And then there were custody of many things. The office of NSA, there were some other things that we had to introduce to the president, to the head of state then. At that material time, they came furious, coming to fight government over the murder of late Chief MKO Abiola. That was what brought them. And thank God, if you watch the tape, there were nasty comments they make for their readiness to sacrifice all they had for and on behalf of Yoruba nation for the murder of Chief MKO Abiola. You could see the bitterness. They went in. Soon after they came out, and that's why I videotaped it. The comments, the attitude, the mood changed. They were clapping hands and chatting and yenning, or within themselves. And then I thank God, one of the correspondents in the presidency, there were many correspondents who were colleagues at that time, if you can check back the history. Even local news covered it. But I covered my own deliberately and differently for many reasons. Because I wanted to keep the data right. Because things were not going right at that time. And what did they say when they were asked? The same Opadoko. The matter of MKO Abiola is gone. We are going to forge ahead. That is no longer an issue. This man was killed a few hours ago. This is the man you claim to be fighting in Nadeko. This is the man you claim to be our mentor. This is the last Oreona can come for. And you just go on some few minutes meeting and came out and say it's a foregone issue, that is not the matter at the moment, that it is no longer an issue, that you are going to forge ahead. How? How can this happen? What sense does this make? And now, because I'm talking of the same man, now I'm an enemy. This is what I'm talking about. If I hadn't any video collection, if I don't have the documents that brought about the money from Central Bank, you can call me names, but I have them.
So you have video of all this?
I have video of that visit.
Do you have video evidence of them giving these people money?
Inside the villa?
Yes.
Houses, they even went to Lagos, house to house, and money was shared. I refer you to 2001 and 2002, Ghanaian Adams interview. And I ask you one fundamental question. If late Chief MKO Abiola's burial was to take place, who do you think should be at the forefront to participate? Was Padokun there? Did he participate in the burial? Since Abiola died, did he take 1 naira out of the dollars he collected to give to any of the orphans of late Chief MKO Abiola? Did he give 1 naira to any of the widows? Is he regular in visiting the grave of late Chief MKO Abiola? What welfare package has he for late Chief MKO Abiola? At what intermittent break has he ever spoken as a vanguard for some monuments to be named after late Chief MKO Abiola at the forefront? But why should you be at the forefront the moment we talk about the man? I know what triggered him. when I say tape, he was scared I was going to talk about this tape. That's why I said to him, by his age, I was not ready to join issues with him. But since he brought it and was even talking on radio, I said, okay, let me bring him back to the path. Maybe he didn't know I tendered this tape in Lagos High Court. It's a public document. It's in Lagos High Court.
Okay, so it's in the Lagos High Court.
It's before the Court of Justice Mojishola Dada. I tendered it, and they were shocked. One of the lawyers was trying to convince me to say that I shouldn't say that this tape was taken in the villa. But it's clear, they themselves, those who visited the villa themselves, knew they were in the presidency with the presidency correspondence. That's why the correspondents may not picture themselves in a tape for themselves. They will only picture the guest. My own tape pictured the guest and the correspondence of the villa with the background of the office of the president, with the seal of the court of law. It has a meaning. He doesn't understand. I tendered it.
Do you have video evidence of those who offered this money?
That's another big matter, and I will tell you at a later date. I cannot release all my ammo right now. I don't talk because I like to talk. I don't talk because I want to go into rhetorics. That is not good for a nation. That's not good for people. If I tell you an issue, definitely in any court of law I will defend it.
Now, Femi Falana claims that you told your Oputa panel that these tapes were stolen by General Abdulsalome Abubakar.
This is what happened, and this is what brought the confusion that they are attacking me right now. When Abiola was killed, they now looked for an officer called Mr. Zadok that I attached to late Chief MKO Abiola and took him away into detention for 1 year from Abuja to Lagos so that the boy will keep his mouth shut, will not talk. He had no access to nobody so that he could talk because he refused to compromise. He's a born again. And I know why I attach him to him. I attach him as a liaison. But soon after the death of General Abacha, I was kept away from staying with late Chief MKO Abiola. Abdulsalam Abubakar refused me access to him. And even the day they were to take him to Aguda House for that interview, late Chief MKO Abiola said he was not going to go until I come. And thank God the boy testified and said that at a Oputa panel. And it was the same Falana that cross-examined the same Zadok. He was the same Falana that cross-examined me in 2001. So how can he be changing his mouth? And then, when Zadok, who escorted late Chief MKO Abiola, was there, Zadok was called to leave Chief MKO Abiola alone in the parlor of Aguda House where this man was killed. The tea that he was administered to, that I was asked by Falana in the year 2001, around August or so, at Oputa panel, was a big issue. It was that same tea that was administered to him, and after he took it, what happened? So all the details of what happened leading to late Chief MKO Abiola falling on his face on the floor and abandoned, and nobody was helping him. And all they did was we sit and wait for a doctor when this man was gasping for air. Who helped him? You heard the narrations of Zadok at Oputa panel. Rather than the doctor or the emergency doctors or the doctors on call at the villa who are there, instead they start waiting for a doctor to come up until somebody said, okay, now go to hospital. Then they left. I refer you to the narration of Zadok, that speaks for itself. But then, what brought about me being framed? First, for coup, so that they could now have the access of searching everything I had, was to now discover this video camera that they later got to know exists in the parlor in Aguda House, where this event took place, meaning it's captured on video. Every single thing I had was searched and taken away. That was the genesis. Falana, as a human rights lawyer, as a Yoruba man, as an essayist, as a minister in the Temple of Justice, should help me to pressurize them to produce all they took from me. This country needs them. The question is, why were they busy looking for video tapes, audio tapes, and documents? Why should that be an issue? And I was framed. But for the 15 years I was taken away, I was never allowed to talk to the media. even Opota was because they convinced the Obasanjo government at that time that I was disarmed of all exhibits. So if they bring me, with the torture I went through, my spirit had dampened down, there was no way I could talk or defend myself with anything. That was why we were brought, nothing more. Towards the end of the same Opota, when they realized God has kept our memory intact over issues, they were the same people who are now begging that we shouldn't even be testifying. I was threatened not to say, not to talk from prison. But Alana should be seen to be a defender of the rights of man, as a lawyer, and as he claimed to be. Not abusing me arbitrarily on things he cannot testify, or because I decided to keep shut. I thank God his fellow colleagues, lawyers, now haven't seen, haven't attended Opota panel, haven't known what has happened. His colleagues, even they are saying, are ready and about to talk to him on television, the way he's doing.
Okay. Falana, going back to still Falana,
Right.
He said when the Pope John Paul visited, he had a meeting with General Sani Abacha and was trying to convince General Sani Abacha that he should release Abiola. And Abacha was almost convinced. You were watching somewhere else with the CCTV. And immediately you saw that Abacha was almost convinced. You just barged into the room and just said, Ogasa, Nyakari, it's over. Please stop.
You know, when I hear things like that, it baffles me a lot. When you sit down and imagine issues, and now come to television to tell the world, because